Hmm. Long question. I mean, I started writing songs. Ooh, maybe I was like 8 or so. You know, actually first I started on keyboard, on piano. I don't remember my first song, but I remember I was playing a chord, but I had such small fingers that I was like actually using both hands for this chord, you know. I always really loved music. I mean, as a kid, in America they make you have they make you do a Pledge of Allegiance in school. Do you know? It's like the national anthem, kind of, and it's a song, you know. And I don't know. I always started crying when I'd sing it, you know. So I was always like really emotional about music. I remember too, we were part of my mom was like a missionary Christian group, and I always like that's kind of why we got into music. And there was a lot of religious songs. I remember also crying about, like singing to God and crying about that too. I don't cry so much nowadays when I'm singing, almost ever. Yes, yeah. I mean, funny enough, I left when I was like 20 from the group that I was born into. And then I would say I wasn't really religious for most of my life until I came here. And it kind of, to continue doing music, I kind of had to get religious. I mean, because I think it's such a hard thing to do in the world now. You really, and especially for me, it was really difficult because I was just kind of a shy person. You need you need something else, you need some faith or some really hard drugs or, you need something, And so for me, it was the only way I could continue to do it. My first instrument was probably piano, that I really, like keyboard, and then I started to learn guitar, and in school I was also taking cello, and so that, and I mean, in the meantime, of course, I played a little bass and stuff, but that's about it, So. Somebody always asks me that. It's funny, originally I had no plans as far as, I never really thought I could do it, or I didn't even have that much ambitions, like I wanted to be famous. I never did. I just wrote songs and I really enjoyed, and most of the time I just kind of kept them to myself. And, I was actually a game programmer. That's how I came to Austria. And that was actually my life dream, to do that. And yeah, because I love games, and it was a good job. Like you got paid really well and everything, and but it never really was worth anything. Like it was, you made money and did these things, but I didn't feel like it mattered in the world at all. And so like music was one of the only things that I did that actually made a difference to anyone else. Not the only thing that I did, but it like to the general public, that was like, okay, I'd write a song and, somebody would remember it, it would be like somehow touch them in a way or help them. A couple years ago, I quit programming because I just felt like I needed to make a decision. And I actually started playing on the street with EO here. In fact, I first saw EO not too far from here, just on the bench right over there.
It was my practice room here.
Yeah, he was sitting there, and at the time I had the last job I had was walking dogs. So I was doing that job, walking, and I'd see him sometimes playing guitar, and I really wanted to talk to him, but I was even too shy to like kind of go and talk to him. So I kind of just was listening from a distance and stuff. But I don't know, there was something about him. I was like, I want to talk to this guy for some reason. But I couldn't do it, so I went home, but the same day, I went out to Schwedenplatz by chance, and I saw him sitting there again, but playing on the street. And I was like, I really wanted to play on the street, but also was like, didn't have the balls to do it, And so he was doing it, and I sat for like 20, 30 minutes, like watching him, like trying to like get the courage to go talk to him. And eventually, I went over to him, and he kind of said, hey, well, why do you want to play some songs? And so that's when I kind of started playing on the street. And the funny thing is, he actually had been at one of my first shows at Tunnel by chance. So it was an interesting thing. And then we were together, and I honestly, to answer the other question, for the last years, I was actually a street musician. That's all the money I made was from that and selling CDs. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not rich, but whatever I had was from that, from the street mostly.
I think it's good training for the show.
It is a really good training. I mean, I think it really strengthens, to be able to play somewhere where no one's expecting you and maybe don't even want you there. I mean, it's hard, and I'm sure in many days people are not interested either. Sometimes there's just not a good mood for music or your music, and you just play anyways, and I think you get a lot of strength from that. If you don't give up doing that, because there's nobody usually claps for you, and so sometimes you stand there an hour and it's like you get nothing. But I think what really strengthens you is you have to enjoy it after a while. If you don't enjoy the songs yourself, if you don't find some kind of inner appreciation and strength, like music is not really worth it, just as an external thing, So I mean, you really do have to enjoy what you're doing enough, in the songs, and so I think that really strengthens you. It also makes you really question, like, is this worth doing, So, but the upside of it is the feedback you get is 100% honest. And that's wonderful, because if somebody stops on the street when you're singing, especially your own songs, not cover songs, because that's all we used to do, and it's like pure, there's nothing in between you and them, and unless maybe you're really good looking, then you might have that problem. But that wasn't our case, so.
What you mean?
That was my case. Can you answer that question?
Concerning music or generally in life?
I'll answer that in a music way. I think I've always, my dream, and this has been a dream with him, and I've always wanted to go on a bike tour around Europe and just go busking and camping just by bike, and really like, I don't know, make it to north of Germany or Sweden or something, and like, come back through France and really do like around Europe thing, but just living from busking, That's a dream of mine. I always wanted to do.
Yeah, that's.
It never really worked out, but.
Well, it can work out. I mean, I think my dream is to be going on a tour with the German songs, and maybe in the German-speaking countries, so to see if anybody is listening or understanding. But just for myself, like just to have the experience.
Okay.
So I don't expect it a nice or great experience, just the
see
experience to have done it.
To see if Germans like your.
No,
German
I don't even care if they like, or I don't.
Well, you do care. You just said that at the beginning.
Well, no, it's a point on my list that I need to put a sign
off.
on.
Okay. Yeah.
So whatever comes out of it, I want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, now I started to have new dreams. Since that.
Take care, there's a wasp.
Since the tunnel show, or not the tunnel, the locale thing, it was the first time I had a band that I practiced with, and that was really like a kind of a life-changing event for me, because I was like, I never cared about being like successful or even wanted to be on a big stage and stuff like that. I never was like, what am I gonna do on there? Like, I'm stand there alone on this huge stage. But then when I had that many people, and it was pretty cool. Like, you have that huge band behind you. You felt like, now I need a huge stage, I mean, that's kind of my current, and not for myself. Like, it was like, I want to put all these people on it, It was like, well, I need a big stage to get all these guys on it, Give them some kind of home or place to play, Yeah, that was my latest thing, was like, because what am I going to, if you have 6 people, like, really, what are you going to do with these 6 people,